That's not what I want. Good evening, everybody. Good morning. Good day, wherever you're at. How's everybody doing? We have got I don't know where this show is going to go. We'll see where this podcast is going to go. It's named Mystical Healing, or Mystic Healing, so we can talk about that.
Yeah.
Looks like we've got a few people in the live audience. We've got 3 people in here right now.
Welcome.
Woohoo, 3. All right, please share this out. Let's get this podcast spread out far and wide, all y'all.
Y'all.
All 3 of you. So hopefully, I couldn't find any good intro music or music to play us in, but I'll have to figure that out. Yeah, we'll get there. We're working on it. Anyway, just to let everybody know, this is a value for value show. So if you do take value in this, there is a link portal in the description on Facebook and in the show notes on YouTube. And we're also on Twitch. I'm not sure where they show up there. If you want to leave a donation, that's where you can do that and help us grow the show, help become producers yourselves.
Right.
And so far, we've had Christy Lewandowski, we've had Kathy Graves, we've had Anthony Lewis. Have been basically all producers. They're still producers. I know I'm missing some people, but whoever I'm missing, thank you. We appreciate the donations. They help. But this is kind of a show where we just talk about like breaking the spell. A lot of the things that we've been programmed, like a lot of deprogramming. And, a lot of deprogramming from a lot of new shit that's coming out that's just not, it's not honest.
Right.
Things that are current that are not honest. I won't mention any names, but maybe I will later on in the show. Anyway, just, a whole complete like spiritual psyop to try to cover what's true and what's real. And that's hard to navigate through.
It really is. It can be very, very difficult.
So that's what we do here. And hopefully we can enlighten some of you. We can learn from you as we go. But this is, your show. You all add to it what you want. If you want to make clips and share them, tag us in them, make sure we know so we can share them out. But anybody that knows how to make clips, please do. We'd love to. Just short little clips of the show. We are going to be letting people on or sharing the link to the studio if you want to jump on later in the show. We want to try it. Every time we do that, we go about 2.5 hours. So we're going to try and keep it to like an hour and a half. Yeah. But we'll see where that goes. I mean, it just flows the way it flows.
That's right.
So energetic healing. What do you think, babe? You want to start with that? You want to talk about that? What do you, or not energetic, mystic healing, but energetic healing.
Well, what would you like to know about it? I think it's probably one of the purest, most honest forms of healing we do. And I think our bodies do it with us, for us all the time. We just kind of forget and things get in the way and things get mumbled and jumbled. And,
Well, yeah, I think I can explain it by, we all are a field. We all have a field around us, and our field gets contaminated or mucked up. That's when sickness starts. And a lot of disease, right?
Disease, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm doing when I'm healing somebody, or if I'm sending healing, I'm cleaning their energy field. That's all I can do. I don't have the training to go in and do surgery, but and do any medical, anything professional medical professionals would be doing, or surgeons, or that's their thing. What we do is we do a lot of preventative medicine, and which is all natural. You don't have to have a certification for it. You just have to have the know-how. And anyway, so through herbs, through plants, through different things that we can use, natural chemicals, not just petroleum chemicals, which is what a lot of it is. And
a lot of synthetics out there.
Yeah. So it's all about like the natural way of self. Like how are you feeling? Are you taking in that energy? When people say they're sending you healing, they really are.
Right.
They're really focusing. Are you accepting it? Right. Because we can be kind of stuck especially if we're in a disease. I'm going to say a dis-ease. Because it's hard to get into that vibration. It's hard to get into that.
Yep.
That mode when you're in pain.
Right.
But it is something you want to practice regularly, get it down to a routine. And I'm bad at this too. Trust me, I wait until like the last minute. But there's a lot of things that I do preventatively, like we take certain supplements. We need to start taking fatty fish oils or fatty acids. I can't remember what they're called. Fish oils, fatty acids, fish oils. And there's another one that we're thinking about. You know, just that you can lack, your body can lack things. And it can have too much of things. Like it can have a toxicity, or it can have a deficiency, or it can be balanced. And whatever you're intaking, keep that balance. And like I said, I can tell myself the same thing. But really, if you're keeping it a routine to, you know, take the proper,
well, to listen to yourself and understand what's going
on. Like even honey, like things like that, like garlic, things like that they can be used to keep your heart, you know, keep your heart health, or for your lungs, or, you know, there's things that you can do that if you do them consistently enough, or do them when you feel like you need to do them, that will keep you from the disease, that will fight off the disease before it gets to a point where it's really bad.
It strengthens up that immune system. It helps kind of keep things, you know.
And thank you, Denise, for the Venmo. Yes, we saw it. Thank you for the $10. Denise is the producer, or the lone producer of this show.
Yeah.
Awesome. And thank you, Denise. We appreciate it.
Very much. Yeah. Well, healing really is, I mean, all of that is like, it's of the mind. Really, we need like doctors when we're in like a place of emergency, right? Ultimately, if we were truly listening to ourselves and eating balanced diets, whatever it is.
Balanced diet, like who the hell knows what that is? Like, you need to be a vegetarian. You need to, and then you got the what was the 4 food groups or whatever that they totally screwed up. That was all a big scam. But that you know, I think it's following your body, but also listening to people that have worked with these herbs and worked with these certain medicines. I know you're not supposed to call them medicines, alternative medicines, because we can use that word. I'm sorry, but science doesn't have a monopoly on everything as much as they'd like to. The established science, but really, we shouldn't. You know, the doctor is not someplace we should go all the time. It's not that's for emergencies. That's when we really need something that we can't provide for ourselves. And we have become the society that's always going to the doctor.
Something's off. I need to go to the doctor.
Like no matter what, of course,
to listen to yourself.
Like I said, there are some reasons, like Christy's going to the doctor right now. She needs to go to the doctor.
That's a yes.
Sorry, Christy, I don't mean to put you on blast, but I don't think you mind, do you? Anyway, and that's the whole mindset too, because you can actually freak yourself out and so much into a frenzy that you will need the doctor, or will need to go to that doctor if you worry so much about what's going on, instead of doing a lot of the healing at home. Now, if there's some things that and understand, like some of that healing, it's not just going to happen. Like, it's not going to happen because you snap your fingers. You're going to have to work with it. You're going to have to understand your body, understand what's going on in your body, and figure it out. And I've been doing this for 30 years, knock on wood. I've been doing this for 30 years. Like, rarely went to the doctor. I went to the doctor once just to get my knee checked out because I got in a car accident. It was a pretty bad one. Somebody lost their life. And my knee swelled up to like, I mean, it was like, I need a doctor. But I went into the doctor, and guess what they said? Here, take some pain pills, go home, and the swelling will go down. If it doesn't, call us. Really, because I didn't need to be to the doctor for that. But it was, you know, I had to feel like I had to check, you know, at least get it checked, because I didn't know.
Quite large. It was quite large.
But it was that one instance, you know, when I had something serious happening that I went in. But the rest of the time, you know, you got to understand this. There's a lot of money, a lot of money in medicine, in Western medicine. And so that becomes a conflict. Integrity or practicing good medicine and integrity kind of conflict there. Because to make money, you have to follow protocols that a lot of them aren't safe.
A lot of things.
Like there are some that are there. Yes.
Once it becomes corporate,
it's the
loses,
bottom line. It's about money.
yes,
it's not
it
about health.
loses a sense of
We have, like,
authenticity.
basically everybody, I've heard this phrase many times
Mhm.
before. We don't have a healthcare system. We have a sick care system.
Yes.
And that's really what they try to keep you going. Like, they want you to keep
Right.
coming in because they make money doing it.
Yes.
And that's it's probably why I'll never be, I don't want to be at that level, because then you're owned by somebody.
Right.
I don't want to be owned.
Right.
And I'm willing to allow, do the work that I do, help the people I help, the way that I'm doing it.
Right.
And that, that fluctuates. You never know.
Right.
But I'm okay with that. I'm not out to seek that type of status.
Right.
So, I enjoy where I'm at. I enjoy, we can grow and we will grow. And that's why we're doing extra shows and working and putting the extra work in, because we have faith that everything will work out. It always does, always has. And in health, that's the same thing. Like, if there's something wrong and there's some things that can be, taken care of, me and you could both we could both go to the dentist.
Oh, yes.
I would love to see the dentist. But anyway, there's things like that you need. But really, a lot of the time, like I said, 30 years without really going to a doctor very much. I didn't go. And there's some people that, like, I know people, and some people are elderly or they're older, so they do have to see the doctor more. They need that extra attention because they're getting older.
Right.
But we really kind of create a lot of sickness within ourselves,
yes,
in our own thinking.
It really does.
I mean, literally, heart attacks come from high stress too, some of them. So that right there tells you, because of that stress, these people are getting, people are having heart attacks. That comes from mental. That comes from, why are you stressed about it? Yeah. You got to learn how to, so your emotions do play a big part in your health.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
And nature does too.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
And there's things humans we play
and then,
big
of course,
parts in our health too.
Tend to
or
have
good or bad health,
and, like, whatever, and etc. But most of us people have some sort of crutch that we're all leaning on.
Yeah.
And that's okay too. You do your best to kind of keep yourself balanced and level, right? Knowing that ultimately we're all indulging.
Yeah. So yeah, it's what I'm saying is, yes, go to your doctors. I'm not telling you not to go to your doctors.
Yes.
I'm just saying, don't get yourself in this place where you feel like, oh God, I need to see them, or they're gonna, or I won't live without my doctor. And this is that whole cult of personality. It keeps playing out and playing out and playing out in every aspect of our lives.
Right.
Politicians, celebrities, people, heads of, leadership, people, leaders in the world. They all have good PR teams. Understand that. So why do they need good PR teams? To make, make them look better.
Right.
I mean, there was a thing that happened back in the, what was it, the 30s or 20s, when the John D. Rockefeller, he had a PR campaign by giving people dimes. I mean, that made him look so good. Just like now that you see a lot of GMOs.
Well, and he starts
NGOs,
foundations,
non-government
and
organizations.
Yes.
And these are all from, like, these billionaires. These people, the people that you see every day, and they're just giving back. But really, what they're doing is using that as like a slush. It's like a money laundering operation, and a lot of them have already been caught doing that. So while they're trying to get good PR, they're still doing sleazy shit.
Right. Well, because I did this thing, they're going to focus on this good thing. And that's, I don't know how many times I've had this conversation with many, many people. Don't focus on the one good thing if there's 10 bad things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes, you can be grateful for that one good thing, but don't focus there. There's still 10 bad things over here. Yep. You know what I mean?
And that's what we get distracted by that. We get distracted by just simply trusting the system.
Yeah.
And that's dangerous. The system, I think, is the most dangerous out of all of them.
Right.
I don't think they offer us protection.
No.
I think it's, if we get anything, it's because it gets them ahead somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of strings are attached to that.
Right.
And we don't see that. We've just, generation after generation for the last at least 30 years has just kind of ignored a lot of it.
Yep.
Or seen one part of it that was really a distraction, because they're very good at that. People, yes. PR people, public relations people, and that's really what all you're seeing with celebrities and you're seeing with politicians. They're, and scientists, or these celebrity scientists. I mean, let's just put them in the realm of celebrity,
right?
Because that's what they are. They all do what they're told.
Yep.
They have an owner. They have a master, and they have to speak what the master wants them to speak. It's hard for some of us to believe, but that's kind of what's going on. That's really what's going on. So, thinking about things in that way, you'll be a lot less apt to being conned.
Right.
Because the goodness, it doesn't get televised. Like goodness, heroes, those people that really stand up, they don't get televised.
Right.
They don't get promotion.
Nope.
This promotion is really just making somebody seem a lot more super than they really are. And I wish I could say that, no, all those people are really good people. They're, but they're not. They're not.
Right.
I mean, the Elon Musks, the Bill Gates, the, these type of people are just, they're in it for themselves.
Yes.
And it's hard to, because they get made look like heroes.
All these foundations, all tied up with other foundations, all doing the same nasty, dirty shit. You know what I mean? It's like two sides of a mob, right? They all are willing to work together when they're hitting the same goal.
Well, they're all doing the same thing because they're all at the same status.
They all want the top spot. They all want the top spot.
Because it's greed. Like, I constantly need material things. I constantly need to control things. And we all do this in our own little lives. Like our own little, if we think about it, we're trying to always control things. We're trying, and that they're doing it on a grand scale because they're given that, that responsibility, I should say.
Yeah, really.
And they handle it very irresponsibly.
Yeah.
And they can tell themselves they're doing good, even after all the evidence that it's not. They can talk themselves into it, but most of them don't talk themselves into it. Most of them just do it, and they know exactly what the effects are going to be.
Right.
And they don't care.
Right.
As long as they're getting a little more money and a little more power, they're cool. And that's what we're dealing with. That's the force of evil that we're dealing with these days. And probably have for thousands of years.
For a long time.
Probably since the beginning.
We just thankfully are now on a massive scale kind of able to see it now.
Yeah, cause chaos. Like, you guys know those riots, the BLM riots? Those things they were leaving like pallets of bricks there. Like, that was totally that was billionaire funded.
Yeah.
Like, those are things that are funded by billionaires or organizations. They start these NGOs, like a non-government organization that's like a nonprofit, right? They start these nonprofits or these foundations, and then that's where they do a lot of their operations from. Like, there's actual operations from, check out the Open Society. It's kind of creepy. But I would look it up, opensociety.org, I think. I don't know, maybe I shouldn't talk. I might not get blocked for that. But anyway, these are organizations that pay a lot of money to grassroots organizations, buy them out, and then do with it what they want. Black Lives Matter was a real thing. It was a real grassroots thing at first.
For a minute.
For a message, but they knew that it was militant enough that they could twist it.
Yep.
January 6th, another one. All those people that went in there, they were all set up. They were good people. Most of those people were looking to, they were fighting for their freedom, or thought they were, but they got sucked in. By Trump, by others. It wasn't just Trump.
Nope.
He was part of it.
Right.
But he didn't cause, and I'm going to tell you this right now, that was not insurrection. There's a bunch of people walking through the Capitol.
Right.
And the only person that died was somebody that was protesting. So, and then somebody else, apparently, they can't prove the other ones. Can't prove the other deaths that they say happened. Right. But all these little fake things, like
they give us these little shows.
All these little false flags, like, you know, the Chicago shooting and all these other shootings that happen. These things are manufactured.
Yes.
Most of them.
And here's the thing.
People do go crazy.
People don't get hurt and people don't kind of lose their minds.
People lose their lives, like, yes.
But we have to remember, anytime we're seeing anything on a screen, we're only seeing what's being fed to us. And a lot of times these bigger corporations feed it to us with bows and ribbons and whistles, and they really heighten up those emotions for you, get you right up into it, right? And that's great for an experience, it is. But understand, that's that hypnosis they put us under, right? That's that trance that they get us with those lights and those whistles and those bells and bows and however else they put it to you, leaving you at the end of the day thinking, oh, if I just go buy this, fill in the blank, right? It's kind of just.
And there's so many things going on in these little operations. Like there's so many opportunities that can be had. I mean, yes, there's an esoteric, heavy esoteric,
yes,
influence to it,
right?
But there's money to be made,
yep,
on all these things. Whether it's, hey, I'm going to tell this politician or pay this politician because I have security, or I have some type of technical thing that can stop school shootings. So let's create some. Like Christy was just saying, create the chaos. It's called the Hegelian dialectic.
Yep.
Problem, create the problem, get the reaction from the people, reaction, solution. We've got a solution for you.
Create the problem to sell you the solution.
Yes, it's all a big sales pitch. It's selling ice cubes to Eskimos, but doing it in such a sophisticated way that a lot of us don't realize it.
Right.
So yeah, it's all about the money. And what does that money give you? Money gives you power. And as you gain more control over, and it's not even owning the money, it's controlling the money.
Yep.
These bankers don't own all this money.
No, it's really not even real.
They hold it for others, for investors.
Notice.
And put it in investments to try to make money. So they're controlling all
our
that money.
note is considered an IOU.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're over here fighting for IOUs, you know, because everyone just owes everybody. And they got the real, like they got.
And then when they really screw up and they've taken so much and they've printed so much funny money, then they got to go to war, or they got to create psyops to bring in more money. What has the last 4 years done? 3 years? You know how much money these elite people, the elite, have been making? I don't even like to call them elite. I like to call them predators.
Right.
These people that own these huge corporations.
Yes.
They've been raking it in.
Yes.
They've made so much more money, or gained control of so much more. And that's not just money, control over businesses, control over small business, control over, you know, everything, but that is not
land.
them.
They're buying the resources. They're claiming ownership over our natural resources.
Resources.
You know, but seriously though, they're buying out all the little mom and pop stores. They're buying the land in mass. They're buying, you know what I mean? They're burning down factories there. And it's just,
creating chaos. And there's going to be more. That's why we're talking about it now. I mean, I would be talking about it anyway after
because the money ain't even real.
But
not the resources.
There's more to come. And 2023 is going to be an interesting one. So it's important you guys prepare yourselves. Just prepare yourselves, even just mentally and emotionally, for a lot of the stuff that's going to be thrown at you. There's going to be things that are thrown at you that are, at first glance, are going to make you, oh my God.
Yeah.
Is it real? Think about it. Stop and think. Let it process. Don't just jump to it. Is it real? Right. Be objective about it.
Yes.
Look at all the different angles that can be happening at once. And especially if it's coming from like news, on TV, cable, all of that is all one centralized thing. So they all have to toe the line. Or toe the line. They have to. That's how they get paid. So they will all be monkeys the organ grinder monkey
Mhm.
for that organ grinder, whoever that is. And
Yeah.
like I said, we've talked about it before. People that control the money, control the institutions, control everything.
Mhm.
And there's, that's we need to start looking at things like that because, or that way. And it's not a pessimistic way. It's a way to look at it as, and this is truth. Now, how do we work from here?
Well, they've kind of taken us, slowly but surely away from our self-sufficiency, right? And they want to blame it on the poor and the lazy and the blah, the blah, the blah. But if you really look at the opportunities that were there once, or the manners in which you get things, we were kind of sold out a long time ago, right? Right from the foundation of things. It was a wide open space for X amount of time. Get everyone believing that you can do these things, and then slowly take those things away one by one. They won't know what hit them.
And it's funny,
right?
Is like Diana said, they're like the politicians, they're like the mob. They are the mob.
They are the mob.
These people come from mob or organized crime, which is PR'd. So the public relations on it makes it seem like it's not. But the richest of the rich, the most controlling, or they are the mob.
Yep.
Like they're no different. Just because we've seen a lot of movies on Italian mafia, no, that's not where that's part of the mafia.
Right.
But there's white mafias.
Yep.
They're probably they're the most probably powerful out of all of them. I think the Italian mafia gave them a run for their money back in the day before World War II, and they kind of had a lot of control.
Yeah.
But then in after World War II, they all came together. The Italian mafias, all the major families, and the government, the CIA, worked together. It was something called Project Underworld. And they worked together to stop communism in Russia. And against the fascists. Apparently, seems like a one-sided war, but that's a different story. Yeah. But yeah, they really did. There's that's been cited, that's been proven. They all work together, and they still do that. That's why we're dealing with what we're dealing with, because they are all mafia. Most of them.
Put a little plug out there, because really, this particular reporter does an excellent job of being able to cite every single thing and show you right there what's been out in public knowing forever, and be able to, she connects the dots for you in such a way that is just absolutely beautiful. Whitney Webb, check out her books. It's called One Nation Under Blackmail, and you will see where the mob and the government kind of connect, and how they've been intertwined for
all right. I'm going to drop the link to the show so we don't stay in here too long.
Okay.
So I'm going to drop the studio link. Gotta remember how I do that. That's right there. So if anybody wants to join and talk about what we're talking about, join the conversation, join the discussion. The floor is free. There we go. Shared. So anyway.
Well, you just got to understand, they sell us on things that really do sound good, and ultimately you can see the good in these programs, but we have to take
there's a lot
really
more to
good
it. There's a lot more in the fine print.
We have to take a long look at how a lot of these things that are really good came about, and what it took to get them to us. It took a lot of, in a lot of cases, it took a lot of nastiness. It took a lot of can I see a world without that? Us maybe being a little smarter, and maybe not being the way we've been for so long, so that we can manage this issue, as opposed to looking for some pill to pop and make it all different.
Right.
Yes, we probably could. You know what I mean? Yeah. If we understood all the good they've sold us on. And like I said, there are programs and things out there that I'm like, well, yeah, but that's helped my family, or that's helped my friend, or that's, I think it's a good thing. But when you look at the history of it, you just got to be careful what you're looking at, and be willing to like look at things and know that we can't just trust the things that are coming at us that are so good. Bill Gates is saving people with this, that, and the other, but he don't know shit. The little Kermit the Frog man over there has been a Weasley little motherfucker that's taken advantage of people since I can remember. The pie in the face didn't wake him up, y'all. He's the same.
No, I think it made him even weirder. Well, we've got a bunch of Dr. Evils ruling shit. And they want to own everything.
Yep.
And allow us to live on it. And then, if they feel like they need to cut us off, they will.
Yep.
If they feel like they need to put another rule in there later, retroactively, they will. And it's just important to see that, because they're changing money to digital currency.
Yep.
They don't want cash anymore.
It's dirty,
causes infections. And
yeah.
We got somebody joining us, Christy. Hello, Christy. Welcome back.
Hey, girlfriend.
Hi.
What's going on, girl?
So that's what I was going to say. In my opinion, I don't know. To me, the money doesn't matter. Like the people that are causing the chaos and doing the things that we all understand they're doing, they have money. Money's like, it doesn't matter. Like they already own everything. They already cause and create everything. And so until we can all collectively grasp that shit, it's just, you know what I mean? It's just, yeah.
Well, and that's the whole thing is that's you got to understand the mind of a psychopath, though. The money is they want all of it. Yep. They have control. They have plenty of control, yes, but they want everything. Yep. They want everything, especially nowadays. Like at a time when nobody was paying attention, they were cool with not putting the clamps down, or they were doing it very secretively, so you didn't notice.
Right.
Now, because they're being exposed and people are really seeing them for who they are and what they're doing, they're going to punish us they're trying to punish us for that. They are punishing us for that.
Yep.
That's why inflation. That's why all high gas prices. That's why
vaccinations to leave the country, travel. That's why
can't travel country to country unless you have a status.
Yeah, it's
these are things that these are controlling the. Yep. It's all about control, but the money is important too, because if they can get all that money, then they can wave the carrot stick in front of your face, and that's when money is not giving them any more power, they go to war. They cause chaos, and that's where we're at.
Yep, we all wanted to stand with Ukraine, and I feel very, very deeply for the Ukrainian people.
I don't stand with it.
But what's going on over there? What we're funding is not.
We're funding
what we stand for.
What we're funding Nazis.
Yeah, we should not be okay with that. Yes, have compassion for the people over there, like the actual genuine people that are in the middle of all this freaking bullshit. But understand it's just that bullshit.
In the silent moment. Sorry for the dead air.
Just kidding. But really.
What's up, Anthony?
Oh, nothing much. Like I said, I'm just listening to you guys. And like I said, for all the facts and stuff I've searched up and stuff, like I said, you're right there on the money. You can't hide what's right there in front. They tried, but it's right there. Once you start really looking past everything what they're saying, and you're double checking your sources and all this other stuff. And like I said,
we do a lot of research, probably to an excessive amount.
Right.
The best thing is you find a site that has something on it, right? That's great, and you forget to save it, and all of a sudden you go back to that same site. All of a sudden it's gone. It disappeared. It never happened.
Yep. They're doing that to WikiLeaks. They're like getting rid of WikiLeaks.
I cannot believe that, man. That was the best publication.
They're going in there and taking certain files out now. Because he's in prison, so they can just do that. They've completely taken over.
Dude, it's
and now there's WikiLeaks is being erased.
See, they taint things no matter what.
And that's the
Even
number
when they
one,
have
100%, never been proven wrong.
Nope.
Never had a bad source.
Nope.
All their information is source information. Straight from their emails.
From their mouths.
But the interesting thing is now they want everybody to have an eye scan, a retinal scan of your eye, right?
Yeah, facial recognition. That's all that biometrics. They want us to meld with machines, man, with computers.
Okay, yeah, but the interesting part of that, if you have what the person's eye, the way we look, the way we see and stuff, well, we can easily, back in the 60s and 70s, where they were doing hypnotic suggestions in the corners of all the stuff. Well, if you know exactly how to hypnotize somebody or really get into their brain by having a copy of what their inner eye looks like, you can send their message directly into the brain. It's like,
oh, there is voice to skulls. Like there's
you can send a message
right to the brain.
Messages from hearing and stuff that our subconscious mind picks up.
Yep, we talked about that, and that's I'm going to bring it back to the healing part of the show, that we can protect ourselves. Some ways are strange. If you focus on it, you'll see. You can protect yourself from the radiation, from the electromagnetic frequencies, from a lot of it. I mean, you can't completely protect yourself, but your body was created to protect it, for yourself against it. Now, when you let it get to you, and I'm not saying I know how to control all of it, because I think I get directed energy attacks. They might just be on everybody, so I'm feeling them. I don't feel like I'm targeted, other than I'm targeted with a collective of people, but maybe I am. I don't know. I can't tell you that. But I get like electrical, like what's the word?
Let me do my example.
Like a piece of, like getting hit by lightning or an electrical impulse.
Well, like I said, for me, I think of it as a sort of like a bear, like you're sitting inside a bubble, right? You're sitting inside a bubble, right? of all of your energy and stuff, right? And literally, all of a sudden, someone comes up and literally taps, like someone's tapping on a window, and that's how, for me, that's how I pick up on if someone's trying to attack me with energy or something like that. It's literally, I feel like, what the? And like I said, at certain times, if it's strong enough, it can crack through that shell, depending on how thick how much energy you're actually putting out to block out.
Like even body weight, has something to do with it too. Like I feel like the more you have, like and I'm not saying you should be unhealthily obese or anything. I'm just saying that extra body weight does help protect from that.
Oh yes,
in my opinion.
As the Chinese say, right, especially from the Avatar series and stuff from the uncle there, he's like, I have where he had this huge belly. Well, guess what? That's where all the chi comes from. It's the bigger the belly you have, the bigger your
I look at Buddha. And you gotta understand, we're living in an upside down world of materialism. This is all materialism.
Oh yeah. It's all materialism
so
stuff.
A lot of that has to do with like vanity and all those, gluttony, all those 7 deadly sins they say in the Bible, right?
Yep.
And a lot of that is like it's upside down.
Right.
And I'm not saying you shouldn't be healthy, but they've got it to a place where it's total vanity now.
Oh yeah, because literally, like I said, you see a person that literally is skin and bones.
Well, because they've hypnotized,
and you know that's not healthy for them.
Right.
Yeah. And it's like here, you need to, because literally you fall,
eat a sandwich.
you're going to crack a bone, and it's like just put a little bit of weight on you, right? You don't have to put too much on there. But I've run into people that literally who has that condition where literally they can't keep any weight on. Literally, their bones.
I go through those phases.
They need to eat meat.
I go through those phases where I can't seem like
they need to eat some
like eat the meat and all that stuff, but literally they just can't keep the weight on, and it's like,
I get what you're saying. The metabolism.
Yep.
Yeah, the metabolism part of it and stuff. Yeah, but they're still skin and bones. Like, I've been trying. So literally, like, well, have you tried the protein drinks? The stuff that helps weightlifters lift weights and stuff. That actually certain chemicals and stuff that like I said, that's the whole thing. When for me, like I said, when I get sick, I'm like, okay, well, can I solve this problem with natural medicine, herbs, stuff like that? But if I can't,
and that's it. There's a lot of natural medicines that can be, that were natural for ages. I mean, people in Asian countries or in the
You can't
East,
overdose on that stuff.
there's people that live to be over, over 100 years old easily.
Mm-hmm.
There's people here in America, like I used to watch those stories on the Today Show when I was watching the Today Show. It's all crap.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, it used to be good, but now it's
when they do like, what was his name? He'd come on and do like Al Roker did it, but the people that were over 100, he'd do those birthdays. And then you'd see the stories of how'd you live this long? I don't know. I ate hot dogs for all my life, every meal.
Yeah.
I've heard that shit before. I'm like, hot dogs are supposed to be terrible for you, right?
Right. I love to.
So what I'm saying is a lot of it is just
George Burns
suggestive, and
himself.
it's to sell something, to sell a dietary product.
Mm-hmm.
George Burns himself, he said they asked him that same question. George Burns, the actor, he said,
Smoke cigars and drink whiskey.
96 stuff or 100 and something. He said, well, yeah, it's from all my drinking and smoking. I'm like,
yep.
Yeah, he lived to be 99.
Yep.
Yeah, 99. Yeah.
Yep.
But that's amazing that really he smoked and drank all.
Yeah, isn't that funny? And a lot of that
is your mindset. I am telling you, it is.
Yes, it's the unnatural medicines, like Diana just said.
Yes,
they want to keep us sick with their unnatural medicines. That's exactly right. And
but we can solve it with natural medicine, take care of it, and anything that we can't take care of with natural medicine. That's why I always say that it has to be man-made. So I go to the
remember
doctor.
In history.
Yeah.
Most of us that defend the big pharma the way it is today bring us back to penicillin, right? Mm-hmm. Remember before we had penicillin? Do you know what penicillin is? Does anyone know how we made antibiotics?
Yep, mold.
With mold.
Yeah.
Yep.
On food.
On bread.
Natural.
They also made
reaction.
They also made LSD with mold on food.
See?
Yep. Very true. Very true. Too much.
There was a whole town that got high on LSD.
Mm-hmm.
They were all tripping because they made some bread with some yeast that was old and it molded, and they fed it to the population or the people of the city. And so basically they were all tripping on acid in one town, and that's where I think it was discovered. That's where it was. That was the trail that where they found it. How somebody discovered it.
You notice though, these are still natural occurrences that happen within things that, you know what I mean? Like actual, like.
From nature.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not synthesized.
That's what's so funny when COVID hit, right? I was like, just wait. In a couple of months, nature herself will give us the cure for it.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I said, we've
had all along.
It's in the rain. All of a sudden, we had humongous pollen issues all over the place.
Well, I'll even go as far as to say that I think that it was actually it's just another cold.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like it was fear porn so much that people and really in like a very aggressive way to everybody on a big scale that the placebo kicked in, and then when they got people into the hospitals, that's when they were dying because there was a lot of medical malpractice happening.
Mm-hmm.
Because of protocols they had to follow.
Mm-hmm.
And who is it that they call, Mr. Dr. Bill Gates? Let's bring him up again, because he's the one over a lot of this. He doesn't have a medical degree.
He doesn't.
Oh, he's got an honorary one because he gave a lot of money to a medical school.
Yeah, I my doctor's degree too if I had that much money.
Yeah, I mean, you could just buy whatever degree you wanted, right?
Right.
Well, you remember back in the 80s, was it? People were printing out degrees and stuff from like Yale and stuff like that. It looked exactly like the Yale certificate.
Yeah.
All these stuff. People were getting these $1 million jobs and stuff in these big business places, and all of a sudden, we need to check your if you actually passed college and stuff like that to make sure your creditability is right. And all these people were running for these 500 corporations. They didn't have the backing for it, and they're but they're doing such a good job. I don't really want to fire them, but society says I have to.
Right.
It's just like that teacher in some U.S. state that didn't have a teacher's degree, but yet her class for the school and stuff, right, were getting the best grades and the best test scores and stuff. And they're like, why is that? And here's a teacher that didn't have any teaching experience or classes or anything like that, but yet was teaching.
Because she didn't feed into the system that feeds the system that she's working for.
Yep.
So that's where the whole thing comes down to is, okay, if people have natural talent in this, then guess what? You should allow them to keep doing what they're doing.
Right.
Yep.
But
But no, we're giving people that have a lot of money and are really psychopathic and inbred. They're the ones that have the money and they're paying for degrees. It's opposite, brother. That's what's happening.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I can see the opposite all the time, and it drives me a little bit crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
I can see what you're trying to build there, but you know it's upside down, right? Yeah, I know it's upside down. Nobody likes it.
Yep, I believe that's how it works.
Right. Well, if you don't feed the system that's feeding you as they see it, then they don't want to feed you any more than they have to look like a good system.
Yeah.
And if they have to, they will publicly humiliate you, belittle you, and make you feel as small as they need you to feel to get away with that injustice.
Yep.
Yep. They like to place the doubt in there, and that's
And moving the goalposts. They always move the goalpost. You prove them wrong, and then this. Well, you know, it's getting really ridiculous. And I hope everybody out there sees it. I hope everybody out there sees that it's such a ridiculous clown show that we have to start making decisions for ourselves and quit looking to these people to help us.
Right.
Because they're not going to help us. They're going to help us right over the cliff.
Mm-hmm.
And that happens every time.
And
whether they entice you by giving you throwing you a bone here and there that makes you feel better, which is what happens. But that little bone that they throw you, there's so much more going on that, is going against you. I mean, look at all those payments now. Think about all those, what was it, those payments they made during the pandemic or whatever, the pandemic. Anyway, yeah, now think about it now. They're taking it out of your ass now. They're getting it back in inflation.
Oh, yeah, literally, when the first stimulus package came out, and I was doing all my stuff for that, and something, I could hear my grandfather in the back of my mind going, you know what? That smells fishy. And I'm like, okay, well, and I remember what he said.
Of course you should have taken it, but because they were going to do this to us anyway.
So literally, I put all that stuff back.
I only got one out here.
We should have invested in land.
Yeah.
We should have invested in something instead of just. I didn't blow it, but I bought a guitar that I never used.
They first went and bailed out the banks. Well, that didn't help anybody. And then they gave us the money. Well, guess what? We knew exactly where, because we need to give that money to the banks that you already sent out because.
Yep.
So everybody paid their bills, but they're like, well, we didn't get the memo that you wanted us to go out and spend on the economy. Well, guess what? We had bills to pay.
Right.
So we paid our bills. We didn't go out and spend money on new.
And they knew this. They knew this. They knew it was like, and these people that took these big loans, they knew this.
And the people that got the unemployment, dude, that's so much more than they were actually paid from their job. Talk about trying to get
another
people
chaos, another chaotic movement,
right?
Like, we're gonna pay people more than what they're making at their job.
They're just setting people up, going, hey, guess what? If I can stay home,
right?
China, don't worry about China. USA is doing so much more to us than China ever could. Somebody was saying China. Let's don't blame China. This is the good old United States of America doing this.
Fucking A, man.
This is the executives of the state.
Again, I'm going to plug the book, y'all, because if you can somehow read this book, Whitney Webb, One Nation Under Blackmail.
Volumes 1 and 2.
The dots for you so fucking beautifully.
She is the most prolific writer or author and journalist of our time.
You will understand a lot more.
Oh yeah, I read some of those and stuff by other writers and stuff that speaks on her that she writes about and stuff. And yeah, like I said, when they connect the stuff and people are like, well, you believe in government conspiracy? I'm like, yeah, don't believe me. Go check for yourself.
Exactly. You
know what's still terrible though? When I say something like about I what's the word? When I'm critical of a leader, no matter who they are, one way or another, people get upset about it, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they get upset and defend that person.
Okay, but you want to know why, baby? Our
Because they're open.
we're just
They're
like
so
one big
close-minded to
receptacle for
what's
emotion.
around them.
And they sell us
Yeah,
on
they're
this
entertained with
emotion.
the rose-colored glasses and the bubble that everybody wants to be in. That
Right.
Oh, I saw this deadly accident over here, but I'm in my happy zone.
Yeah.
I don't see death around me. I'm doing good.
Yeah.
All
I don't have to think about anything unless it comes to my front doorstep.
That's right. That's right.
Then literally all of a sudden,
Affects
a
you.
couple of months later, you run into that same person, and they're on this curb crying and everything because their life is falling apart.
Yep.
And you're, hey, how you doing? And they're like, well, I think I remember you. I'm like, you probably do.
Yeah.
You're the happy-go-lucky guy when somebody else was down on their luck. And now you're getting hit with the same thing they are.
That's right.
Like,
Everybody
okay.
opens their minds and their eyes, though.
Oh, yeah, that's
What was
the
that?
problem that we're having right now is everybody's waking up and going,
Yeah.
what the hell happened?
And they're all like children.
Well,
Because when you first wake up, you're so like, okay, I found Jesus. Okay, I know where I'm supposed to go. And they take it way too literally. Like, and then you should, but they take that awakening like,
you can try to start at the very top of in the front of the line, but sooner or later, as I tell people who are trying to learn their gifts and abilities, and I check where they're at and stuff, and I say you skip level 2 and 3 to try to get to level 4 because
yeah, you really, guess
on
what?
level 4.
Y'all ever heard the story of Icarus flying too close to the sun and his wing melted?
Yep.
You cannot
His
skip
wing
steps.
melted and he crashed
Even
to
if
the
you
earth.
do for a minute, it'll come back around.
Yep. We're all talking at the same time.
Yep, sorry. Really.
Wait till nobody's talking and then, or if you need to jump in, but everybody else jump out. I'm talking about everybody. But you and Anthony are competing right now, not consciously.
Oh yeah, let's give Kathy some time to speak.
Kathy, Christy. What's up, Christy? What's your take on this whole conversation? Shit. I don't know. I'm waiting.
No, because it's just it's all in, I guess, the eye of the you know what I mean, like the eye of the. Because yes, I agree. I think that there's I mean, obviously, dude, there's so many different degrees of things that are just so completely fucked off that like it's hard to even keep track of it all. But as long as we, like, I really do feel it all falls down to vibrations. We're all an equal vibration, and the sooner we all get on that ship, the sooner things can start to get on track. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Can't control what other people do, just like you can't control how fast people accept their gifts and whatnot. Like, it took me, I mean, God, you guys, I only started talking to you guys a couple years ago. I'm 42, so it took me a hot minute of like, and I'm not, like I've said this before too, I don't know everything. I don't pretend to know everything. I don't want to know everything because I enjoy learning. I like looking at other perspectives because maybe I don't agree with everything you're saying, but I'm sure there's a piece of something that we can each take from each other and build.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm always for that, like always for that. And I think that as long as we all just continue to kind of, I don't know, we can overcome the shit that's happening with these.
I mean, we already are. We're still here.
Oh yeah,
for sure. Well, that and a lot more people are opening their eyes. I do think that has changed a lot over the last like 5-10 years. I do think that there are a lot more people that are, because you can't turn the other cheek to a lot of stuff that is happening. Where, like you guys were saying earlier with Anthony, it's in your face, so you can't sit here and be like, oh, I mean, I guess you can, but most of us, for the most part, are like realizing, okay, this doesn't add up. Okay, this doesn't make sense. The thing with Jeffrey Epstein, 9/11, like all of these things start to add up.
The moon landing.
What the fuck? Exactly.
Well, I mean, that
one's deep, man.
Just because, like, seriously, we made it there, and you guys were talking so clearly, and it was all.
How do we have that kind of communications at that time?
But now, all of a sudden,
where we just talk to people on the moon.
All of a sudden,
we don't even have that. We didn't even have that until. You know what I mean?
You want us to believe that we now have cars that drive themselves. We have the technology that cars drive themselves. We don't need a driver. We have things like you guys were saying with Anthony, where we can talk to each other through our minds. Like we haven't gone back, and we're not hanging out on the moon. Why?
Right.
Right.
Because I don't think we went there. I think that was a big show.
Oh, I think we did. I think we're still there. I think we've been there.
I
with
think,
a lot of other places.
well, we may be there, but I don't think you're seeing it on TV.
No, fuck no. No, absolutely not. No.
But we may be there. I just like the way that the narration is. Like, how did we talk to each other?
Right.
Think about that.
Right.
Okay, we just barely got cell phones.
Yep.
Right.
We didn't have the communication devices to connect that far away.
Right.
And yet
At
it
that
was so
time.
clear.
And yet they just had these conversations.
And it was
Like if you look deeply into that, and I'm not saying either or. I mean, I know that there's something on the moon. I know there's something. I don't know if it's the United States or for anybody from this world. I think there's a whole other society up there going on.
It's up there, I think.
But the thing is, what I'm saying is these guys, like NASA, is a bunch of bullshit.
Oh,
like
God.
it's all.
Yes.
It's all like everything. Every one of those images you see from NASA, they're all created by CGI.
Yep, Photoshop.
Photoshop, yeah. And I've seen Saturn. I mean, and
in a
telescope, but you can barely see it. Like it's very blurry. And if you had a big telescope, you could probably see it better. But we're not getting those pictures. I feel like they're not showing you the planets as they are because they're a little bit different than you think they are.
Well, okay, so if you think about, I'm just gonna subject off of that for the pictures that I sent you guys of Mars. So I do a lot of digging and whatnot, and so I stumbled across a site that had a community, and I had to become a whole bunch of shit. But I saw a bunch of images that were on the moon of like there's pyramids that were there. There are so many things, lakes, and all. So something had to have happened to wipe the entire fucking planet out. But there was life there. We wouldn't know that. Why? Because they don't want to.
Right. Well, we viewed that. We remote viewed that Mars, and they were living underneath the ground.
Yes, and that's because they say that we can't handle it. Who are they to decide what we can and can't handle?
Well, because they don't want you knowing that there's all that shit going on anywhere else.
That makes me so mad.
But I think we're going there not from like traveling through space. I think we're traveling through a wormhole or a Stargate of some kind.
Well, like I said, if we can get back to many of the Native American stories on how they arrived here, many Native American stories talk about portals.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, portals are
starting
huge.
to be destroyed. The Great Spirit opened up a doorway so we could travel to the next planet that we're supposed to live on.
Yep. And I think, and you look at like the Hopi.
But there's plenty of other cultures around that have that same storyline, and it's like, so are we? All these groups of people can agree on it, and certain scientists show that with the way the way lines and stuff are on the Earth and stuff, it is possible to open it, but we have somehow lost that knowledge to turn that on.
Well, and that's, I mean, even the Hopi, I was just reading on the Hopi Indians and their creation story, and they were talking about how the beings came from below.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
how they came from all four corners, right? They came from the east, the south, the north, and the west, but they came from underneath the ground. And so that kind of leads more to like, and in the things that I've seen psychically and remote viewing, there is a whole other civilization going on inside of this.
I've seen those tunnels myself through remote viewing and stuff like that, and it's interesting just looking at the writing on the walls and stuff. So.
Right.
I think that it kind of goes towards, like, if you think about all of the major places, like the Indians, the Egyptians, they all have the stories of how things came to be, like their ideas of how, right? And it's the same thing with religion, because it's all basically the same bottom line. Like, it changes with your culture, it changes with what area or part of the world you're in, obviously, but it's all the same basis. It's all the same bottom line.
Right. And it's funny because they do turn it into this thing where you have to follow it this way to get that same experience. And I don't agree with that.
I really don't either.
I think you can tap into these things without any rules but the ones that you make for yourself.
We see it all
You know,
the
you
time.
limit yourself, you're going to be limited.
Right.
We see it all the time on paranormal shows and stuff where the paranormal group actually catches a ripple in time where they actually see a person from that, like from the Victorian age, walking actually down the stairs.
Right.
Get the full-fledged, and literally, yeah, that to me, that's a rip in time where literally
Yep. It's yeah.
the past and the present has lined up perfectly.
Yep.
Yep.
To echo that event.
Because the past, the present, and the future all line up.
Yep.
When we're in the right vibration, it's like a 360 view of life and time. And if you can break it down into that, like the cycles of life, and that doesn't mean just life here on Earth. It means life through eternity.
Right.
But there was an article back to the moon part. There was an article back in the 70s about this millionaire person. I can't remember what his name was, but supposedly he got his group of people together and stuff, gathered up all the people, and actually built a rocket ship and actually went out to the moon. That was the last. And supposedly they are actually on the moon. That's what the report was showing, that, yeah, they actually made it out of the Earth's atmosphere and they actually landed on the moon. And the way they contacted them back was by that's what the whole NASA thing about reflecting light. Yeah, that's how to tell the people here that, yeah, that's why they're like, yeah, it's us. We put a thing up there showing that, to show that we can tell how far the moon is and stuff. But other people are saying, no, that's from that colony there. That
Oh yeah, I think there's a lot of shit going on, and we've talked about this before. When you can see in that fifth dimension, you'll catch glimpses of it.
Yeah.
When you can get yourself into the fifth dimension, which means you need to be open-minded. Like, you can't follow if you follow any religious text, any archetype, you're already limiting yourself. You know, and that doesn't mean you're putting yourself above God. It just means you're putting yourself above perceptions that were thrown in our face all our life.
Like, here's the thing. I'm gonna take the astronauts.
The religious way.
A lot of people want to say we definitely landed on the moon because these guys said we did, and they came back and they've given lectures and blah 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 blah. Here's what I want to say about the power of the mind, and I'm going to utilize, unfortunately, hypnosis because this is the technique I use. But understanding what hypnosis is. Hypnosis is a technique to get you into trance. That's it. That's all that it is. It's a technique. Unfortunately, it is a very useful, highly effective technique. And people in these big, highly known spaces, the media, television, mainstream anything,
the mainstream, which is very,
they know how to utilize those things to hypnotize you without you realizing it. Yeah, I watched that story. I thought it was bullshit. Next thing you know, you see it, and you see it, and you see it, but you're wearing a mask.
Yeah, religion is keeping us from the truth.
Yeah, it's understanding how we actually work, right? Knowing that anytime I am willing to fully engage in a moment, I am in trance. I am now in a moment. I get to make myself, or I get to weaken myself. When we are in those states of full engagement, bringing yourself back into your now and understanding what's actually happening, being able to ground in those moments when you're fully engaged lets you know you have control of what's going on. And you will know if something or someone is trying to break into the psyche subconsciously on a mass level, not just you, but everybody. Or maybe just you, right?
Yep.
However, it's playing out.
No, I agree completely with what you're saying there. Like I said, everybody has those, as I like to call, barriers that they put up. Especially those that come to you for reading that don't believe that you have any gift at all. You don't know your shit, right, and stuff.
Right.
Those are the best ones. I love disproving them all the time. Bullheaded and everything else. I'm like, okay, you want to try to block me from trying to pick up anything from you? Okay, here, let me see what I can find. And there's that small hole in the chink of armor that they think they're 100% on. And there it is, and you go right in and you tell them, here, how about this? And they go, how the hell did you know that? I'm like, and they're literally they're like, nope, that's it. I'm out. I'm like, okay, bye, talk to you later. But everybody else that was reading that same thing or watching the video that's happening and stuff for the recording, and it's like, yeah, dude, can you do me next? Can you do me next? And it's like,
yeah.
Well, see, and that's just it. You have to be open to it. If you're completely closed-minded, you have no intention of changing, you're simply out there to troll somebody, you're right. They ain't going to do you no good because you yourself don't want any good.
Right.
So you're either going to be ignored or blocked, right? You're not going to get that fake assistance. You're not from somebody that is actually paying attention. They're not going to give you that you're out there trying to get, because you're trying to get something that they're not offering in that moment. And you're trying to break that focus, that trance state in which they're in. If you can understand where you are as a human being, how your mind works, where you are at all times.
Yeah, like I said, some
where you
people
take
say
your
when they
control.
have that moment that you're talking about, some people say that literally time itself actually slows down.
Yep.
When you have that moment, that literally time itself slows down, and literally you can see the sort of like the moth effect, where literally you see the flapping of the butterfly or the raindrops stopping and that type of stuff. And
it's different for everybody. That's why I think psychedelics are so helpful to opening people up, because they do give you that vision, like you do see in that Technicolor, like, and you see it differently. Like you see it the same, but much more enhanced of what it already is, right? So you see, like if you see a tree, you see the leaves on that tree. You could see every leaf and every branch alive and having their own individual experience while being all connected to that tree or part of that tree. Like things like that. Like it's just, you see profound things that are kind of forced in your eyes, like forced in front of you. That's why people get freaked out when they think it's a bad trip. No, it's not a bad trip. It's something you're ignoring or you're not paying attention to. Right. That's why it's coming.
And that's why sometimes it's really good to have a guide with you when you're doing these types of things.
Yeah.
Someone to keep you grounded, keep you into your now, help bring you to your space that can help get you through that, right?
Oh yeah. You always want to have someone there to make sure, hey, you're okay. You're in your safe spot. You're still exactly where you're at.
That's right. It may not be pleasant right now, but you're okay. Here's where you're at. You're good.
Am I still in the living room? Because I'm seeing a tree on a hill here. I'm like, yeah, you're still in the living room.
That's what mushrooms have done to me, but LSD never did that to me.
See, LSD,
like I actually saw what was there. I just saw it like ultra enhanced. Yeah. Mushrooms actually like opened the ceiling for me once. See, like I was watching TV. It was a summer night. I think I was laying down in bed. I wasn't really watching the TV because I was tripping on mushrooms, but this was a few years back. But the whole ceiling like was gone, and I could see outside.
Like the bricks, like the bricks, literally the ceiling gave away. Like bricks are like it opened up to like a view of the sky.
Yeah, and then it was 360. Like I started to have a 360 view, so I could see behind me. I could see on the side of me.
Oh, so did you turn all the way around and look at yourself?
Yeah, I mean, yes, I looked at myself plenty when I've done psychedelics or had psychedelics. Like, yeah, that never scared me. I could look at myself. They're like, don't look in a mirror.
I know what I'm doing. It's like, hey, I'm moto surfing here.
Yeah, you have to be mindful of where you're at. Like, this is something that's going to affect my physiology, my sight. I have to know and be prepared, because as hard as it is, like, or as good as it is that those beautiful things come in, you'll get those truths that are not beautiful too, and they'll come in.
Oh yeah, you get the dark side of stuff.
Yeah, you have to be able to accept both, and I think that's the best type of psychedelics. Right. The ones that can show you both are doing the right job.
Because you have to embrace that darkness. It's finding the balance. And look,
Oh yeah, like
I'm not going to say I don't still
time,
suffer from a slight fear of myself because of that. I wield a lot of power, right? As we all do. And I'm one of those people that have convinced myself that my power is wrong in some way that I'm still dealing with. A lot less these days, thank God. But understanding how you work and knowing that your thoughts, your body, your mind, as you work in synchronicity with each other, right? And I've not been very patient with myself. I tend to allow frustration still to this day affect my non-union with
Energy
mind,
field.
body, soul, right? But when I allow myself to just take my time and be in the flow and do the things I need to do, it feels that much better, right? So just simply understanding, really, that you have a way you work and knowing how you work and not fighting against it is your number one key.
All right. Well, I think we're probably going to wrap this one up. I think we've had a good discussion, and again, value for value.
Yes.
Denise Bertucci left a $10 tip. Thank you,
girl.
We appreciate you, Denise, producing the show. And
Anthony for joining us.
yeah, leave
Chrissy
that.
for
Check
joining
out the
us.
value for value. It's in the YouTube show notes in the description, and it's in the description in Facebook too. It's linktr.ee/psychic shaman 333.
Your webpage today and looked at all the interesting stuff you got there. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah, join that group, the Shaman's Journey, Shamanic Journeys. I share everything in there, so you'll be able to hear all the podcasts that I've been sharing in there lately. But you've been on a lot of them, so.
Oh yeah, like I said, as you guys many times picked up on and stuff, is many times when just for myself, many times when I do card readings for myself, it literally says stop the doubting. You know exactly what you're doing.
That's
and
it.
stuff. And literally, it's that doubt that gets in there that
it does. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, I know what. And then when you really do speak up about it, and you really, it's the shocking people's faces and stuff. When you're like, holy freaking crap.
Yeah.
And
being
Love and light, Christy. You all right? How you doing, Christy? You doing
okay
good?
with not those shocked
She's
faces?
said love and light to everybody.
Oh, love and light, my lady, and everybody.
Yeah,
but
she jumped off.
That
Probably time to go to bed.
You will create a shock and awe, but not being okay not doing that. Really trusting that you tapped into the right thing, right? Maybe they're telling you no all the way right now, but
who have been really down and out, right? Literally, they're like, this is it. And literally, I run into them and literally, boom, I'm like, hey, it's going to be okay. Just 2 simple words, everything's going to be okay. And literally, I run into them 2 weeks later, like, you know what, thank you. Like, oh,
yeah.
Those 2 words helped me throughout the whole.
Yeah.
You just must have
sometimes it is the simplest thing, and you doubt it. You're going, oh my God, really? That's all I got right now? But don't doubt that. You simply got to give it the way you're getting it.
Even the cards themselves, like, nope, dude, we're not going to help you out if you're gonna doubt yourself. We're not going to help you out. This.
Well, because you're not going to help yourself out, so they're not going to do that. You know?
Let the energy in and let it shine.
That's right.
Yep.
Much love, everybody. Thank you.
Much love, y'all.
That is number 14 down. So
yes.
Check us out on Spotify. Check us out on check us out on Spotify. Go leave us a rating there. I'm going to try to get us on more. I haven't taken the time to do that yet on more podcast platforms, but yeah, we love you guys. We'll see you next time. Have a good one. Much love.
Big hugs and loves.